Good afternoon, investigators. Mike Evans and Casey Pine here with another episode 229 of Spy Curious. How are you, Casey?
I am the usual, busy and a bit tired by now.
Well, where have you been this week, Casey?
I was down in Melbourne this week, so beautiful, cold and windy. Nothing like Melbourne weather to make you really grateful for the Gold Coast.
Okay, Casey's going to tell us all about that in a minute as she goes through the comments, and I'm going to go through a whole range of things this week from jobs and stuff like that. But first of all, this one, g'day Freddie, g'day Chris, great to see you people. G'day Xavier, how you going, mate? Hi Colin, we've got to fix that address, mate. I know you'll fix it. Get in touch with me, buddy. G'day Claire, congratulations on graduating this week, Claire. Well done, great work. And Casey's got a warning for you for down in Melbourne. G'day Amber, how you going? Great to see you back from holidays. Welcome back. So I'm going to go through quite a few things. You can win the Cufflinks again, people. So 𝐃𝐞𝐜𝐞𝐜 last week was very pleased with her Cufflinks, and today you'll be able to win Cufflinks again if you type in #tag spy. Those Cufflinks are really exciting. Everybody wants them. They are 007 Cufflinks. So type in #spy in the chat, just so Casey doesn't know what a comment or what a #spy is to win a Cufflinks and confuse her. That'll keep it interesting. And Claire, congratulations on graduating this week. Casey's got a really good warning for you in your licensing application process coming up in a minute down in Melbourne that's really relevant. One of the things that's come up this week is the use of there, and there in statements, people. Okay, if you're not sure which one to use, jump online and look at where you can use it. So it's really important. Checking how you use that in a witness statement or in a report is really important that you do it and you get it in the right context. Had a great question this week from Gigi. Are there any online PI jobs ever? Thanks in advance. Brilliant question. Really good. Online PI jobs where you work from your home office and conduct investigations and take statements on behalf of investigation agencies is called desktop investigations. That's what it's called. Every investigation agency in Australia engages desktop investigators. And this came up in one of our social network Facebook pages, and a lot of people were really interested in this. It doesn't matter where you live. You can investigate people in other states if you are licensed in those other states. And several enterprising desktop investigators over the last year and a half or so have got licensed in Tasmania, New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria. And they sit at home conducting interviews and taking statements through a case management system like Polonius. And we've featured it on this program. If you go back 15, 20 episodes or so, you'll see it there and you can see how they do it. All right. Those jobs are in absolute abundance and they're very busy investigators and they're earning quite good money. It's the technology of today that allows you to do that didn't exist 20 years ago. 20 years ago, investigation agencies, if they had a witness that lived in the bush, would mail them an iPad, 3 pages of instructions on how to charge it, how to turn it on, how to access it, and interview them over the iPad and hope that they'd mail back in the return envelope they sent with it. That's how they used to do it. It's freaking weird, isn't it? Now, anybody can go to the library if they haven't got a computer and jump on and be interviewed by someone who's doing the interview. Now, the interviewer, as long as they're licensed in the state where that person who's being interviewed is, can be interviewed and it's legal. So you must have that license. I don't recommend that you get a license in every state because you may not get as much work in the Northern Territory doing this as you would in New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. Okay, but some Tasmanian investigators are doing very well out of this. And there's nothing like sitting in a nice warm office when there's snow outside and interviewing someone in Queensland. It's good fun. All right. So keep that in mind. So great question, Gigi. Great question. You can do it in the state that you're in at the moment. All the employers that do it, Clarity, SureFact, Quantum Corp, M&A Investigations, Seeker Group, all of them are featured on our Facebook page with job vacancies. So you can see those job vacancies on that Facebook page. So just jump on it, type in Australian private, corporate and government investigation jobs. Now, I had an inquiry about job vacancies this week that sent me off my nut. And you're about to hear me go right off as I explain that inquiry. Now, it was a genuine inquiry made by a person genuinely trying to get ahead. That's fantastic. That's really good. That's what I'm all about with a registered training organisation, developing skills and getting people going. Investigation agencies advertise genuine jobs. They're on our Facebook page, right? They expect the person who takes up those jobs to comply with their client service level agreement and what the industry and the clients expect. They don't expect the person coming into it to invent their own shortcut and cheap way of going about it. Now, the person coming into it doesn't always know that until someone tells them. And they have to have that explained to them. So when they come in, they're not the first person that ever thought that they could do the wrong thing. And that's found out when it's too late. Let's have a look at the video and then I'll explain why. This is not an uncommon question that I get, and it always comes from people who are actively on Seek looking for jobs. Now, they're very qualified people who have a good understanding of editing, proofreading and report writing and basically grammar and spelling. And what they are putting their hand up for is to work within an investigation agency as a report writing checker. Now, what this person has done is they've written to me and said, I'm interested in studying either of the following units, which I understand are offered as part of the Cert 3 investigative services, and they develop factual investigation reports or develop surveillance investigation reports. I'm applying for a role in a report writer, proofreader, editor. I wish to complete this unit. I do not wish to complete the whole course. I'm wondering if this is possible. Blah, 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 blah. I've got this background here and background there, blah. Now, that's great for you trying to save money and be cheap and skirt around the system and do it really easily. And you're treating the industry you're going into as if it just started yesterday. Well, it didn't. The industry has a whole history of people that have done the wrong thing as far as file checking, that sort of thing goes. So this has come from the fact that recently some decent, genuine investigation agencies have advertised for proofreaders. And this is what their jobs look like. And you can see these are, I think it's ProCare and Scout Investigation, great investigation companies, both of them. And they are seeking proofreaders, and they can employ lawyers or loss adjusters who don't have to have a license to do that proofreading. But if they haven't got that, then they've got to have a license. So the person doing the checking to view your private and confidential information that you have been audited on, investigated on and provided, they have to have an investigator's license in order to check that report, vet it, advise on what's missing, and report back to the client who has a very high expectation. Who are the clients that have that high expectation? These are those clients. They want to, if they're general insurance, it's got to comply with the General Insurance Code of Practice, Suncorp Metway Code of Practice, and their investigators watching these have both those qualifications. The Allianz Code of Practice, QBE WorkSafe, CTP liability, and every client service level agreement that's out there. It didn't happen yesterday. I've been going to presentations on this sort of thing ever since way back in 2001, and here's one that we were presented at the time. I think this one might be a little bit later than that, but they have a code of practice because it's a common discipline. It's positive for the industry. reputation as protection for individual investigators. It's a fairer competitive market. It's to protect the scheme integrity and efficiency. And that's what it's all about. So my reply to the person was, look, I hope you're well. This is not directed to you personally. Is the reason why I cannot do it. In the civil investigation industry, the report writing proofreaders are affectionately known as file Nazis. Russell Ames and Keon. Basically, they are continually the continuity assurance of the investigation business. They check for things that are missing, such as instructions against what was supplied by the investigator. So every investigation agency has them. Every investigation agency ensures they are lawyers, barristers, legally qualified, or they hold a Certificate 3 in investigative services in the state where they do it. There is no shortcut to this by taking a cheap way out and not considering the compliance of your employer and the industry expectations of licensed investigators conducting investigations and their investigations being checked by actual licensed investigators. This is a matter of who's checking the checkers while the checkers are checking. So what I'm saying is, if you have no idea of what investigators do, you can't be a proofreader, editor, or a checker of their reports and statements. And I'm going to give you a very real example, which is common from surveillance operatives who come out of crap, cheap police courses in relation to surveillance and what they tell people to do. Now, they have very nervous graduates who have no idea what they're doing, and they use mirrors in their vehicle to film claimants because they don't want to take the risk of being caught. And this is what it looks like. So if they're there filming a subject who's using her left hand gardening in a mirror in her home from down the street, it will appear in that reverse image as if she is using her right hand, which is supposed to be injured. Now, if you haven't studied the proper Australian Security Academy CPP 30619, Certificate 3 in Investigative Services, and you want to check other people's work, you haven't got a clue. And the result of you letting that slide through, number one, it will deny someone who deserves compensation their claim when it should have proved that they had every right to it. Number two, when the work cover authority finds out what happened later on as a result of their own internal investigation due to the person kicking up a fuss after seeing the video, which is shown to them in the discovery process, your investigation agency will lose their work cover contract in Melbourne, which would be up to $3 or $4 million annually, because of your incompetence and lack of knowledge. So you don't put yourself up to be a qualified proofreader editor of statements and surveillance reports and factual investigation circumstance reports when you have no idea what you're doing. It sounds easy. It sounds like a really good shortcut to take, but the industry's been around a lot longer than that, and they have high expectations. And that's insurance companies, government departments, they all depend on it being done properly. They make mistakes too. In Victoria, with the current government, they don't do a lot of surveillance in workers' compensation. So this guy has had a field day in Victoria for the last few years, and he's now gone to jail for a $430,000 scam that they didn't use surveillance to expose, that he has been laughing about in the face of every employer in Victoria who plays their insurance workers' compensation, and it goes up every week because WorkSafe don't do surveillance, right? They just accept that everybody's nice and honest. Well, they found out big time this week with this guy, they aren't. So he has gone to jail for working while he says he can't work. So he was supposed to have a psychological injury which prevented him from working, but he ran another business for years. Now, how do you think WorkSafe found out about it? Was it because of their really good investigation techniques and the protection of the public purse and not putting up premiums of all the other employers in Victoria and respecting them? No, it wasn't. The guy accidentally emailed the wrong form to WorkCover. They got it, or he faxed it or emailed or whatever. They got it, looked at it and thought, that doesn't look right. And basically he exposed himself doing WorkSafe's job for them that could have been done a decade before with surveillance and saved all that trouble. But oh no, they're too nice now in Victoria. I bet as a result of that, they're changing their mind down in Victoria right now. We're coming to Casey. Casey's going to get turned in a minute, all right? Just be patient, Casey.
Waiting.
Casey's waiting. We had an amazing insight last week for Father's Day. Here it is. Maddie wrote, I remember 24 years ago going out with my dad for a day on a surveillance job. Good on you, Maddie. What a great thing to do. I loved it. I wanted to learn everything. I quit my job and the next month we went on numerous jobs. Oh, that's fantastic. Maddie and his dad, and this is Father's Day week last week. Back then we had the newspaper to amuse us, no phones, no laptop, no GPS, just had Gregory's map book and pen and paper. How about that? That's amazing. The simple things and tools of the trade just made it more interesting as well as challenging, and your focus was full on. There's Maddie having quality time with his dad and learning a lifelong skill. I think this is just great in Father's Day week. These days, they're all gadgets, cameras, phones, laptops, social media, etc. Forgot drones. Add drones in there, Maddie. This makes our job easier, but in my opinion, it's just so distracting, and the pressure to get results, you need all of these. Bugger, now I forgot the point I was leading to. Oh, well, stay safe out there and just enjoy it. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and great work, Maddie. Maddie, you're a superstar, mate. And I could just, you sit back and think about Maddie getting his Gregory's map out, thumbing his way through it, and his Melway, he's figuring out where Kangaroo Flat is as against Footscray. What a great thing to happen 24 years ago. Really great observation from Maddie. Made my week. And anybody who ever went out with their father to do surveillance, congratulations to you. What a wonderful quality time opportunity for you all. Here's Casey.
Mike used to bribe me with girlfriend magazines to sit still in the car when we were on surveillance when I was a kid. So my tip this week is, it's kind of another review. I'd been looking at this. It's an OSINT newsletter by 𝐃𝐞𝐜𝐞𝐜. I think that's how you say his name. But if you're on LinkedIn or been on Twitter or X, sorry, I'm still not used to calling it X. It sounds weird. And you follow the OSINT scene, then you know Jake has been around for years and he produces some really amazing content. And he now has an OSINT newsletter that you can subscribe to. And I subscribe to it because he puts a lot of good information on LinkedIn that I already like and find helpful. And it's $13 a month. I was like, well, is it worth it to have a look? And because I like him, I like his work, I thought I'd have a look, and it is definitely worth it in my opinion. If you love OSINT as much as I do, he puts together some incredible stuff. He has been writing in the OSINT scene since I first started even looking around. He had a Twitter feed that was incredible. Then he moved to LinkedIn. Then he stopped for a little while, I think, because he got so busy. And now he has this fantastic newsletter. So he pulls together interviews and news and tools, tips and tricks and different theories and different ways you can use OSINT for different industries. It's fantastic. So also heaps of tools like image enhancers that I get from him because, as you know, in open source intelligence, tools come and go all the time because they either start on the freemium model and they become like really pricey and it's not open source intelligence anymore, or someone builds something really cool and then gets bored with it and just leaves it and the tool dies. So things come and go all the time. He's well across it. It's definitely something that is worth looking into if you love it as much as I do. If this is your career, this is a really good resource for you. Like 𝘬𝘳 is the new AI image upscaler that he's posted. I didn't have time to go and take a blurry photo of a car zipping past to use it, but if it's something that you might find handy, as investigators always need image clarity, especially for number plates, this was a really good tool to give it a try. There's also, I saw he has he found a post on Yandex docs, so Yandex search operators, which is really fantastic. Just all these extra things that you can pull in just to add more strings to your bow. And the more you stay across this, the more work you will get because you're the one that's in the know. You're the one that has the tools. And he just pulled it all together for you. It saves you going around and searching for it as well. So highly recommend the $13 a month on that. And also, Mike wanted me to speak about my time in Melbourne this week. So this week I went down to Melbourne to be fingerprinted for my Victorian license. And I booked this months ago. Like you have to book months in advance. And I was sitting there. I was the second person to be up that day, but I got there a little bit early because I'm that person that likes to be early. If you're on time, you're late. But I was there and the guy before me, he had filled out the wrong form for his security provider's license. And I think he must have done ink fingerprints when he needed the live scan, something like that. He'd mixed it up and they just said, "No, sorry, like you've mucked it up. You need this one. You filled out the wrong form. We'll reschedule you." And the soonest he could get in was December 6th. And he understandably was incredibly upset. This is another 3 months that he has to wait before he can even apply for a license. He's like, "This is my job. This is my career. This is something that I need. Can you please not help me?" And they just said no. So it's something, just make sure you fill out the right form, pay attention. If you don't know, ask. So either ask Mike or ask the LRD themselves. They're pretty good at getting back to you. So just ask because you don't want to wait that 3 months, get to the counter that morning and then be told that you have to wait another 3 months. So it's really difficult to get in. It takes a long time. It's a real shame. Hi, Tony, by the way. Sorry, I did see that come up. It would really suck to have to wait another 3 months. So yeah, just make sure you fill out the right form.
You have been warned by the person that was with the that was at the Victorian Police Fingerprinting Centre on Tuesday?
Thursday.
Thursday, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Been a busy week. Did you get ink on your fingers?
No, it's a live scan. So
the romance is gone.
Yeah, it is. I think I've only been ink printed once, maybe when I first got a license many, many moons ago. But yeah, ever since it's been live scanned. So it's just like a little glass window and they roll you around and you see it come up on the screen. So it's all digital. So I had to do the national, hi Crystal from the Gold Coast, much warmer here than Melbourne. So it's the live scan fingerprints and my national name check. So Victoria are definitely one of the strictest states or territories in Australia for any kind of licensing. Like I had to fly down to get fingerprinted and then fly home. So whereas other states have what's that called, Mike, where you can use your license for another state to apply the
mutual recognition,
which is fantastic. I think Adelaide have the best process for, well, South Australia have the best process for that at the moment that I've seen. I don't know if it's changed, but yeah, Victoria are definitely difficult to book in, and they dot
New
their
South
I's.
Wales, yeah. New South Wales, Western Australia, and Victoria are very difficult with mutual recognition. There's issues there. Queensland's great. Queensland's fantastic, which is surprising. But anyway, Casey, come back to your fingerprints. You went in, you went up to it like a reception and showed them a form, or what did you do? Let's just go through it.
Yep, showed them my form. So it was the consent to the police check and the fingerprinting, filled that all out. It's a really nice PDF, one of those ones that's actually a live PDF that you can just type directly into. Thank God you don't have to sit there writing block letters for an hour. So yeah, filled that out, took down I took all the IDs because I didn't want to get down there and they say, oh no, that's not enough. So I took my license, my birth certificate, my passport, but they just used my birth certificate and passport. And yeah, just sign, like you have to sign it there in front of them. Don't pre-sign your form.
You've been warned, Claire.
Yeah, I've seen that. I actually saw that happen in Queensland. So I was at the Logan police station doing my live scan, and someone had pre-scanned their form, and the police printers weren't working that day, and they got sent away. They're like, you go away, reprint it, rebook. So yeah, I've seen that as well. You can pre-fill it in, that's fine, but just don't pre-sign it. You have to sign it in front of the police officer, and it says that. So so I handed that over. They took me into the little room.
Who did? Two police officers in white coats or what?
No, just one police officer. So we had to wear masks as well. They're still pretty strict down in Victoria with that kind of stuff. So yeah, she took me in. She just, every fingerprint, palm prints. That's something I would do, being super, you have to be organized because, I hate doing things twice. That sucks. So, they do your palm prints, your sides, all of your fingers, one at a time, all at once.
Did it hurt?
No, you have to push pretty hard, and they do push your hand. No, she did keep telling me to relax your fingers. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to relax.
It's a performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
How they hold criminals down, I don't know.
No, God. But she was lovely. It's the police, what's the address? 113. It's in Melbourne City, but the station is huge. Like, it's this massive building.
It's the headquarters.
I saw it at nighttime too. I flew down the day before, so I wasn't late in the morning, and went out for a wander because I was in a hotel just near it and just lit up. It's pretty fancy. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite funny. They make small talk with you while they're doing it, and they say, what are you here for? Firearms, close personal protection? Oh, private investigator. Oh, wow. They go, like they're trying to get you to relax and pretend they're interested. Oh, what's that all about? And then they whack, put your finger on the photocopier, wrestle your thumb out. And, it's a lot of fun.
Well, they did ask me probably 3 times. They're like, so it's unarmed? And like, yes, unarmed. So it's unarmed. Yes, it's unarmed. Definitely unarmed. Yes, it's unarmed. Right. So I felt like saying, no, it's armed the 3rd time. Like, if they were going to give it to me, I don't even know what it is.
Fair enough. All right. That's great. So that's a really great walk through the system. And it is, Xavier. That's where you'll be going for yours, Xavier, down the Docklands. Yep, my word. It's a big but you walk in and it's straight in front of you up the stairs, isn't it, Casey?
Yeah, it's right. You walk in, it's just to the right. And then there's a big sign that says fingerprinting that way. And it's just it's set up. It's really easy to find. And you don't need to, this is just the start of the process. So I'm getting my fingerprints and my police check done. It's not even applying for my license yet. I have to have these things before I even apply for my license. So you can do that beforehand. Yeah. like book in now because it's going to take months.
Yeah, my work book in as soon as possible. Oh, here we go. Here's the date, December the 16th.
Woohoo!
Well done, Xavier. So, mate, you get your holiday away and you can come back plenty of time, and you're going to be licensed very early in the new year. Congratulations on graduating this week, Xavier. That was a job well done.
Awesome.
Pat and I and Casey and the others were all really proud of you, mate, and Claire as well. So that's just fantastic. Well done down there. Victoria, they need you to be licensed investigators down there, and I'm coming to why now. So let's have a look at it. This week's jobs, I'll see if I can bring some of them up. So they're drowning in investigations down in Victoria. This is what it looks like down there currently. Now, I had a question today. Are there still going to be jobs in Victoria in the mid to short term? People in the next foreseeable 15 years, and I haven't even got my wife's crystal ball here with me, they're going to be looking for investigators in Victoria. They are never going to be replaced by a computer. You can quote me on that. And basically, investigation agencies down there are looking for investigators today, and their capacity building for the future. You heard me say earlier when I was going off my nut about losing a $3 million contract with WorkSafe over a moron doing their vetting, okay? In 2 years' time, that's going to be a $5 million contract because of that guy that committed that $430,000 fraud. They are going to be pumping so much more money into investigations there, let alone the TAC, let alone the corporate investigations, bullying, harassment, racial discrimination, sexual harassment, reputational risk stuff. They're not going to run out of work. That's our system. Okay, so you want a job, you go to this Facebook page. That's where you go if you're an Australian Security Academy student. Now, a person who was an Australian Security Academy student this week made a comment in there. All the investigation agencies are asking for experience. Well, yeah. Okay. If you do an Australian Security Academy course, you've taken a minimum of 3 statements, you've written reports, you've conducted surveillance, and you've conducted factual investigations. You have experience. No other RTO delivers that level of experience. And all the investigation agencies know they get a better person, better graduate, better investigator, because Pat Flynn showed them how to do it. So Sure Fact are looking for investigators in New South Wales and Victoria. You get in touch with Pat Henderson. He's the guy that looks like Gru. You can't go wrong. There's Pat, there's Gru. Don't ever tell him I did that, because he will sue me and I haven't got any money. And basically the building authority down in Victoria, they're looking for investigators down there to vet their investigations, just like they were before. Woolworths are looking for a corporate investigator. You don't have to be licensed for that one. So there's an interesting job with Woolworths. Great opportunity at Tabcorp. Again, corporate investigator working for Tabcorp. You don't have to have a license to do that. It's a corporate investigation role. You don't even have to have a certificate for foreign government investigation. You will need a certificate for foreign government investigation to get one of the many Essential Services Commission investigation roles. There's 2 there down in Victoria. And senior regulatory operations bulk round, multiple positions here for AUSTRAC. So anti-money laundering, you'll need a certificate for foreign government investigations for that role. Don't miss out on that. Factual investigator for workers' compensation with CTP. That's in New South Wales. In the regions, coming back to AUSTRAC, this is, you put your hand up for the job. Now, people don't like doing this. They think, oh, they're never going to get me. A couple of years, 10 years ago, a decade ago, we had a series of students do that course, and they all applied for one of these positions in a similar agency. And they thought there'd be hundreds of applications. Well, it turned out there were 14 applications and only 4 people actually interviewed. Now, the ones that were interviewed could read, write and speak English to high school level. Think about that, people. You might imagine that there's all these really great investigators out there, but if you've got your certificate for foreign government investigation, that's a good role for you in the future.
Yeah,
the Australian Fisheries Management Authority are after someone to work for them as an investigator in Canberra. Now, one of the things they all take into account with this, and we had it come up this week with a surveillance operative, you have to be a member of an industry association to work for the big insurers like QBE, Allianz and Suncorp Metway. If you're an Australian Security Academy graduate, g'day Evan, good to see you, mate. You are a member of AirLab. So that is free for as long as I'm around You get free membership. You don't have to go to any meetings. You don't have to pay an annual fee. And every Friday, you get to participate in continuous professional development with our Friday Investigations Uni. So that's something that you have as an applicant for these jobs. There's a fraud and scam operation analyst wanted for the Bank of Queensland. We featured Bank of Queensland with one of their managers who was held up by Irish terrorists, and he had to go and get $30,000 out of the bank and give it to them. This was some 15 years ago here on the Gold Coast. They only committed one crime, those Irish terrorists. They've never heard from again. Don't know what happened there, but now they've got a fraud and scam operation analyst there that they're looking for at Bank of Queensland. LKA are looking for a client and case manager. That's a qualified one who knows CPP 30619 Certificate 3 in Investigative Services, is licensed, or is a lawyer or a loss adjuster, not just someone that said, oh, I imagine I know all about it, and they're going to risk their $3 million a year contract with their clients on my lack of knowledge and how surveillance operatives use mirrors. There's case management, licensed investigator Shawfact with Paddy again, and recoveries officer for insurance down at Recovers Corp in Victoria. Allianz are looking for an internal investigator, and so they want a qualified investigator. You can have a license with that, but it's corporate. You don't really need to have it. Casey, that's been a very busy afternoon. Spy Curious. We have not... Yep, sorry.
I was just going to say, when it comes to jobs, get on LinkedIn, follow all of the big investigation agencies, learn who's who. They produce, like, some people produce some incredible content. The managers, the case managers, they're all active on LinkedIn. Get to know who they are, like their stuff, interact. You'll make connections there that will last you your entire career. LinkedIn is really fantastic for the investigation industry.
Yep, get on there and like their stuff. No matter what they say, just like it, right? And they'll think you're a genius and they'll want to employ you, right? Then add up all the likes they got, whatever. I was on LinkedIn this week. I'm going to a regulatory compliance enforcement conference in Victoria. And this was advertised on LinkedIn as well. It came through in the email and I signed up for it. And this just gives you some perspective, people. I was looking at the list of speakers at this conference. I was like, geez, that guy's got a pretty distinctive name. I know him. And he was one of my students 14 years ago to do Security Risk Management, Certificate 4. Then he did the diploma. Then he did government investigations and something else. And it's really ironic. I am now going to that conference, $950. I'm being taught by a person who used to be my student who is now a doctor. He has a doctorate. And it's not one of our previous doctors that we've had presenting on this program, it's a whole new one. So when I tell you I only interact with people who are lifelong learners, that's all I do, that's all Casey does when she works at the Australian Security Academy, there's some real achievers out there. And through AirLab, Investigations Uni, and the Australian Security Academy is the Investigations Uni. There's just on this morning, we did descriptions. The Australian Security Academy, you're going to get a part of that action. Let's try and give away some, what do I give away?
007 Cufflinks.
Okay, can you see that?
No.
All right, I'm going to have to share my screen. Try again. I'm not very good at this, am I?
Last chance to type in #spy before Mike gets it up.
Is it? I'm getting there.
Yeah.
No. Can you see that?
Okay.
Right, here we go. We've got 5 entries. Who's going to win the cups? Claire!
Well done, Claire. You're pretty cool.
Fantastic, Claire. That's absolutely amazing. So you graduated this week with a Certificate 3 in Investigative Services and you picked up a pair of 007 handcuffs. Whoops. So I'll send you another envelope with some cuffs in it. And Colin, PM me your correct address, mate, so I don't send it to the wrong address. Oh dear, oh dear. Well done, Claire. That's absolutely fantastic. We're going out in our usual way.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
That's our mission complete, people. All units, please return to their base.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
That's it, people. So thank you, Casey, for sharing your experience of the Victorian Police LRD's fingerprinting process. That was really something else. You don't often get such a red hot, off the press insight into that. And thank you for the update on the OSINT today. That was very interesting too. People had a question. You missed part of it. You want to see it again. Casey's OSINT tip. My funny joke, right? All you have to do is press replay. Okay. So wherever you're watching this from, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or on Facebook. Congratulations, Xavier. Been a very big, enjoy your holiday, mate. I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful time. And when you come back, you can be fingerprinted and get your license underway. That's great. So you can press replay at any time and watch it. And all the replays are over on our YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind, give it a subscription. Give it a subscribe, please, because we're inching our way up to 1,000 subscribers. We don't care about being monetized. That's not relevant. What we want to see is 1,000 there. Give it a subscribe if you enjoy Friday Spice Curious, our job vacancies, and Casey's tips. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Mike. See you guys.